In a world where instant responses, constant availability and emotional openness are seen as virtues, few recognize the quiet strength in conscious withdrawal. The modern individual is conditioned from childhood to be ever present, to please, to say yes even when it means no, to meet every demand with urgency. But what if the true path to inner power lies not in perpetual presence, but in deliberate absence? There is a transformative power in not reacting. Some individuals command respect, not by asserting dominance, but by their mere withdrawal. Their silence is louder than words, and their absence provokes introspection in others. When you remove your emotional availability, it unsettles those who have long relied on your reactions. People accustomed to managing you through predictability begin to lose their grip. The energy shifts, not just externally, but deeply within. Carl Jung emphasized that everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves. Thus, when you step back and become inaccessible, those who feel desperate, irritated, or triggered reveal more about their dependency and manipulation than about you. It's not cruelty to withdraw, it's clarity. Being too available is often mistaken for kindness, yet it is a form of self-abandonment, an unconscious effort to gain approval, to avoid rejection, and to maintain a certain image. This habit leaves you drained, emotionally depleted, and unfulfilled. Jung's concept of the persona, or social mask, explains how we often perform roles to be accepted, roles that force us into over-availability and constant self-sacrifice. People start to see you not as a person but as a tool, a button to press for validation or comfort. You become predictable and therefore easy to exploit. They don't love you. They love what you give them. When you change that dynamic, they retaliate. But it is not your change that bothers them. It's that you've stopped being useful on their terms. According to Jung, the human psyche is not limitless. It functions as an energy system. Every reaction, every argument, every emotional giveaway drains this energy. Most people live misdirected, expending their strength on those who do not value them. And when you are emotionally exhausted, you become vulnerable, a perfect target for manipulation. This is why it's essential to observe your triggers. What provokes you? What causes you to react instantly? These moments are your leaks, your energetic wounds. Healing begins when you become sovereign over your responses, saying no without guilt, staying silent without shame, and walking away without explanation. These are acts of power, not detachment. Jung's concept of projection explains how others impose their unmet needs and hidden shadows onto you. The more emotionally available you are, the more blank a canvas you become for others' projections. You're not being loved, you're being used to fill emotional voids. Manipulation rarely shouts, it often whispers through guilt. You feel obligated to help, to respond, to be there, even when it destroys you inside. But when you withdraw, the game breaks. The mask falls, and in its place you emerge as a mystery. Your silence becomes a mirror that forces others to see themselves. This confrontation with their own emptiness is, well, intolerable for many. Hence, they criticize, guilt trip, or attempt to provoke, not because you're wrong, but because you're no longer compliant. True silence is not passivity, it's an act of rebellion, a refusal to play a game that drains your soul. Jung viewed silence as fertile ground, a space where transformation takes root. In silence you gain lucidity. You begin to notice patterns, toxic dynamics, emotional manipulation, and most importantly, your own value. You no longer explain your absence, it speaks for itself. Those threatened by your unavailability reveal how deeply they relied on your emotional chaos to stabilize themselves. But silence isn't just about disturbing others, it's about reconstructing yourself. In the void, left by noise and reaction, you find clarity, strength, and authenticity. Choosing unavailability initiates a profound transformation. First, it feels like loss. You fear judgment, loneliness, estrangement. But this solitude is not a void. It is the fullness of your presence. In that space, you begin to disidentify from the persona, from societal expectations, and from emotional codependency. Jung called this process individuation, becoming who you truly are. As you reclaim your energy, you lose people who never saw the real you, only the role you played. But in this shedding, you rediscover yourself. You stop being reactive and start being creative, shaping your world from within. To live selectively is to live truthfully. Emotional discipline means not every message needs a reply, not every invitation deserves acceptance, and not every relationship must be preserved. Conscious unavailability is not arrogance, it is sovereignty. The cost, misunderstanding, accusations, isolation, but these are the growing pains of freedom. You will lose what was never meant to be kept. In return, you gain self-respect, peace, and the clarity to only allow what resonates with your truth. The final transformation is spiritual. Silence becomes your language, solitude your companion, and authenticity your home. You no longer seek to be understood by everyone, only by yourself. And in that decision you find the most profound kind of peace. If you're ready to stop performing and start living from your center, remember, being loved means nothing if it requires abandoning yourself. Choose your peace. Choose your silence. Choose yourself.